I think everyone's got a deeper purpose. Everyone really, like you said, we're driven by money because we think that's going to be the answer to all our problems. And then we understand that it's actually not. But like you said, we all have a purpose. We're all here with a mission. We just don't understand it because we're not taught it in school. So our curriculum is only there.
People are afraid of the knowledge. They're afraid of the knowledge, That is why they stay in their ignorance for a lot of people, Because ignorance is very comforting. Because when you are in ignorance, nobody is really going to be holding you accountable. Because if you are afraid to show your face, if you are hiding your face behind other people, your face is not visible. Nobody can come and accuse you of something because you haven't said anything, you haven't done anything. So if you are lying on your bed, that is where you are lying, just watching people living their life. You can't be guilty of anything. You are shortchanging yourself.
If you look at a child or a baby that's born, we're born into this reality, but it goes deeper than that. So if you think of ourselves as like we aren't just these flesh and bones as people think we are, we're spiritual beings having a very human experience.
Thank you for checking out Obehi Podcast. We encourage people to own their story and share it with the world to expand their purpose. Before we start this presentation, I have something to quickly share with you. Are you a purpose-driven entrepreneur? Do you want to cut across the noise and attract your ideal client by leveraging your own story? Then pay attention. I have a signature program that can help you own your story. A 5-step transformative journey to reshape your professional and business narrative for success in less than 90 days. And it's available at academy.aclasses.org/story. This is what we have understood. Storytelling is the most powerful instrument known to man. And this is what that could mean to you. You can either own your story and use it to advance your purpose in your business and professional life, or someone else will do. The choice is yours. Now let's get started with today's episode of the Obehi Podcast.
Okay, so I am a spiritual mindset coach and a self-mastery coach. So I basically teach people how to come into alignment with what they want and how to achieve things that they want to achieve and how to let go of the things that are no longer serving them.
I like also when you made mention of the fact that you help people to be in alignment with themselves. I think we can really spend a lot of time talking about that because I think it is fundamentally important. But first, tell me, how did you get into coaching?
I didn't really get into coaching or mentoring. I was literally falling into it, if you understand what I mean. It found me. So it's always been my mission and passion since I was a very young girl. And I sort of really didn't realize that the gift and the ability that I had. And then people would come to me and I'd sit in the park and they'd sit next to me and they'd say, wow, you changed my life. Or I'd be on holiday and somebody would swim through my legs and would have a conversation, and the transformations were phenomenal. And then I realized that as much as I kept trying to move away from this, because it wasn't something that I felt that I really wanted to do, it was something that I knew that I came here to do. So that's when everything really transformed and changed for me.
That's lovely. But first, even before we go deep into it, I want you to tell me, how do you feel about what you're doing? Tell me about that feeling. Is important for me.
Yeah, I love what I'm doing. I think it is such an important part of where we are in creation and in this time of evolution right at this moment. For everything that's happening in the world, it's really imperative that we understand who we are, how we create, and how we are impacting the events of the world today, and even the events of our own life. We've never been taught it, and it's time that we really do start paying attention to who we are, how we create, like I said, and the impact that we are having on the world around us.
Thank you for that. Now, I'm sort of thinking, because at the point you were talking of be core to what you are doing today. And I think that is really important for a lot of people, no? So I don't know if you could spend some
Yeah.
time about that calling.
So when I was a very young child, from the age of about 4, I used to have these visions, and the visions were really out of my own capacity to understand them. So there would always be what I know today is the greats of the world. There'd be like people like Moses, there'd be people like Joan of Arc, all these people that would be in my vision. And they'd be holding up a plaque, and my name would be on it, saying that I was here to impact and transform and make a big change in the world. But I never actually understood that. And when I used to speak to my parents about it, they would tell me to be quiet and not tell anybody. But the vision was always there, and the vision never went. It never left me. And I always had the ability to see people who they were, regardless of what they were doing or what they were saying. I only saw them as pure unconditional love. I never saw any of the what people would say the negative side of people. I just saw that they were just love, but they were just completely disconnected from themselves.
And where do you think that power, that possibility is coming for you? That other people might not be able to do, but you are able to do that. Where is that connection, if you want to call it that energy, where is it coming from?
Well, what I understand now, I never understood then, that each and every one of us has that ability. We either are connected to ourselves or we're disconnected from ourselves. But every single person is born with their own intuition, their own internal guidance system, which is our emotions. And we all have the ability, once we learn to really detach from this human self and to go within, that our potential is limitless, and we haven't even tapped on what we can really achieve. We can only achieve things in life when we look at what somebody else has achieved, like when Richard Bandler run the race, and then he broke that belief system, then everybody else then started to achieve it. We always need external validation or external proof that someone else has done it, and then maybe it's possible for us. But really, we are limitless beings, and we have that potential within us once we get out of our own ways.
External validation. I think I would like you to spend some time there. Why do we need that? Why are we not just able to tap into our infinite potential and then just ride on? Why do we need external validation before we can say move into our infinite potential and being able to do things that have no limits?
Yeah, well, if you think about it, like if you look at a child or a baby that's born, we're born into this reality, but it goes deeper than that. So if you think of ourselves as like we aren't just these flesh and bones as people think we are, we're spiritual beings having a very human experience. So when you come into this human experience, we are born with every single thing that we need within us to be able to come and create the joyful life experiences that we came here to experience. But we're born into families, and we're born into this world system and society that tells us that we're bad, we're not appropriate, be quiet, don't speak, or that you're never going to be like your sister or your brother, or why are you so thick, or why are you so stupid, or you never get anything right. So all these experiences, these life experiences that we have spoken over us, or we're born into families that are dysfunctional, families that have money problems, or might be abuse, or whatever's going on within our family units and the world that we are being part of. It becomes part of our belief system. So from the age of 0 to 7, we're just literally like a little program. We're just a recording, and we're just observing our parents. We're observing what people tell us. We're observing what we're seeing and feeling. And then that becomes our point of attraction. That becomes what we think that we can achieve. And we then create our own identities based on what other people have told us, not on our true identity, that we are whole, complete, limitless, and that we're here, and we can use our minds and our thoughts and our feelings to literally command any experience or anything that we choose to experience into reality. So we are so separate from our true selves, and the whole journey is about waking up and to go back within and to reclaim our true identities.
That is a very important conversation, and I think it is very valid in the time that we are living in today. Looking at the regular life of people here, particularly here in the West, people tend to be very, I don't want to say superficial, but limited to
Yeah.
just the body and
Say
brain.
it.
So now your approach to it is different. How do you marry that?
Yeah, because you got to remember, like the world as we see it isn't actually how it is. So, it's very hard to explain because we are so obsessed and we hold on so tightly to our belief system that, if it's in the Bible, then it has to be correct. If somebody from the church says that it's right, then it has to be the truth. If a doctor tells you this is going to be your outcome, oh my God, it's going to be your outcome because they know best. And it's all a load of crap. I'm sorry, but it is. Like who wrote the Bible? I'm not saying that the Bible isn't amazing, and it is. It's got the most phenomenal stories to teach us about ourselves, but everybody takes it out of context. Doctors can only look at a human body and see what's going on through a microscope. They didn't create the body. They don't know what's going on within the body. They can't heal our bodies. That's down to us. And every single thing is a permission slip. So if it's a tablet or if it's a treatment, it's only us agreeing that it's either going to work for us or it's not going to work for us. So as you said, we're born into a world that is basically really set up to help us to fail. That's why we have to learn different knowledge and information. But, most people, like you said, they go along and they just live this 3D reality thinking that this is all it is. But surely there comes a time when you have to really start looking and thinking there must be something more to who I am. Who created my body? Why do I wake up every day and I'm able to take a breath? Who regulates this system so perfectly that it works with me or without me? When our last breath goes, our last thing that we have is our heart. Then the heart gets slower and slower and slower. Our breath dissipates. And then where do we go after that? There's no such thing as death. You think we're just born and we die. There's so much more to us, but nobody wants to explore it. It's like, I don't know, people seem to sort of like stick their head in the sand and they don't want to take responsibility for themselves. I think that's the real reason. If you take responsibility for yourself, for your life, and for your choices, then suddenly it's scary because then it's like, oh, I'm the creator of my reality and I'm doing it to myself, rather than, oh, I have this sickness or I had this problem, but it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault. And it makes it so much more easier then for you to be able to cope with it. But really, true empowerment is realizing that the only person that's creating any aspect of your entire life is you. And when you can understand that, then the game of life becomes so much more exciting because there is nothing. I don't care if you was on your last legs. If the doctor said you got 1 day left to live, it's rubbish. Unless you agree to it, then it will become part of your reality. If you don't agree to it, it can't become your reality. I know thousands of people that have healed themselves from cancer. I worked with someone the other day. They gave them literally a few months to live. They're now cancer-free. Why? Because they didn't buy into it. They did at first, but when they had the new information about who they were and what they were capable of, and they had the ability to command a different reality, they changed it. Life's just a game. We're living in like a simulation, and you have to make it fun. It's not heavy.
Simulation. Could you spend some time on that? Because you are coming also from a background of psychology, is that correct?
No, not psychology. I've got a spiritual psychology certificate and things, but I don't really deal on any of that. People love, like you said, they love a title. But how do you know? Dr. Mimi, or how many MBOs or whatever you got behind your name? They need this stuff. But that's not where our information comes from. Again, that's living in the 3D reality. We have to go beyond, like you said, beyond what our eyes can see. Because if you're looking at reality by what you can see and what you can feel and what you can hear, you're never ever going to really find out the fundamental truths of who you are. Because real reality is created in the 4th dimension, in the 5th dimension. It's not created here. So, for me, it's not about, I like to teach through life experiences. I went to the depths, what I would call of the lowest of the lowest. But I know now as a spiritual being, we all choose our life experiences that we want to experience before we even get here. We choose the people that are going to interact with us, and they're all doing it out of love because they're all trying to help us to awaken to our true selves and our true essence and what we actually came here to do, to awaken to the fact that we are these spiritual beings and we're here to live a joyful life experience. And any lower emotion or any lower vibration just means that you are so detached from your true self. So for me, I teach through life experience, as I said. I've experienced physical, mental, emotional abuse. I've been to the parts of where I wanted to commit suicide, take my own life because I was so separated from myself. I've experienced extreme poverty. I've experienced everything, but I've also experienced the fact of the joy commanding, healing my body from 10 years of bulimia, where my body was completely broken and distraught. I healed myself within 2 days of commanding that I was whole and complete. Once I understood that creation was complete, I took myself from being nothing to start rising up and creating a substantial business, creating my own minds, my own wealth, my own home, and everything that I have in my life today. But more importantly, it's who I became, not the things that I manifested. It's who I became, from somebody who was always told you're worthless, you have nothing to say, to somebody that now goes on the stage and I can speak in front of whoever I want to speak to and be the person I want to speak, because I realized it was just seeds that were implanted by other people that were broken. They weren't really who I truly were. They wasn't the seeds that were created before I came into this 3D reality. So it's a game changer. It changes every aspect of your life. You'll never see life the same way ever again.
Absolutely important. But you also made mention of simulation. Could you expand on that a bit? What do you mean by that we are living in this simulation? I think somebody need more explanation on that.
Yeah, so really what you see is only a vibrational interpretation of what your eyes are looking at, basically. You know that, like, as they say, the world is complete. The world is beautiful. It was created by God. There is not one fundamental issue in this world unless it's created by man. That's it. It's all coming from us. But I don't see a lot of things that other people see. So like now, all the stuff that's going on in the world, I'm not saying it's not there, but if you're not giving it your attention, you can't see it. It doesn't become part of your reality. So it's like, if you think about an energy, a cell, an atom, when you look at it, if we're energy, and really we're just created by pure energy, that really, if you look away at something, it doesn't exist. Everything is just energy that has then become materialized. So what you're looking at basically can't exist if you don't give it any attention. So when I say we're living in a simulation, that reality is being created, like putting a virtual headset on your head, you're creating it yourself. Now, I've worked with numerous clients that have been going through some really horrendous things. I'm talking about court cases that they never thought they could win, bankruptcy, ludicrous things that they could never, ever thought that they'd ever be able to transform. But when you understand that it's all coming from you, how did you create that situation? Because everything's first created within your own thoughts. So what was the thought process? What was the seeds that you were continually planting and watering? And then when you start changing the seeds, planting the seeds of what you want to happen, regardless of what your eyes can see, that's when everything changes. Their lives manifested. They got the results they wanted. They couldn't believe it themselves because it's something that you have to experience. In life, words do not teach. Life experiences teaches. So everything you learn, you have to put it into an implementation system so that it starts working for you. And then you can start seeing, I was thinking and feeling this way, and this is what my results were. Or I was thinking this way, and this is why I'm experiencing this negative stuff that I don't want in my life. So that gives you the power to constantly always change it. You can deactivate and reactivate what you do want. It's simple when you learn the process because you become aware. And everything, first of all, like anything, when you go to the gym, you want a six-pack, it takes weeks. You're not going to go in and come on, I want a six pack, let's have it now. It doesn't work that way. You've got to do the work. And over time, with the knowledge and information through repetition, focus, and determination, that then becomes a new belief system. And it becomes your new way of thinking and feeling. And every time something happens and it doesn't make you feel good, you can go straight back into yourself rather than looking externally. And you can start asking yourself the questions. How did I create this? Why is it come now? What is it coming to serve me? How's it here to help me grow? Why did I create this? You know, I don't want it. So what do I want? And then you can start the process and start changing it. So everything's a game. Like I said, we're just in a simulation. It's just a game of we're creating ourselves, really. If we're not here, if you take yourself out of the picture goes, the game closes, it's end, final. You know, so when you think about it like that, you're the only player in this game of life.
It is beautiful. You know, it is beautiful because when people fully grasp what you're saying, it means you are putting power in their hands, which is what, of course, many religious institutions of the day didn't do. They don't have the intention of doing that because they like to connect people to a kind of a supernatural, but they are not able to really directly connect to these people. You need to have, okay, you understand that it is supernatural, but between you and the supernatural, there is somebody. That person or the institution is dictating what is going to happen to you, where you go to go and all of that. With me, you are really not free. They are not preaching freedom. True freedom, I think, is coming from spirituality, which is to say that religion is not exactly spirituality, and spirituality is not exactly religion. But there are some religious people that are also spiritual, and there are spiritual people that can also be religious. Now, Mimi, I am looking at somebody who have not awoken. There are some experts that I've interviewed here in Obehi Podcast. They actually refer to this moment as awakening. That when you are awake, you live your life differently because now you come to understand that you're actually a spiritual being, but having a human experience. This is not something that we learn every day in school, no? Because of course, the system want to educate the people and put them into a simulation that of course, this simulation is controlled. And you are not free in it. Somebody is controlling it, just playing you like a game. But now you are looking at it like a game, your explanation, but that in this game, you are independent, you are playing it, no? You're not just playing according to another man's rule. Now, let's look at that individual who wants to play this game according to how he or she wants it. Where should he or she start from?
Yeah, well, the first thing is I think you really have to understand that the world that we're living in is quite corrupt. So everything is a business now. That's the way you've got to really understand it, that every single thing, and I don't mean to disrespect anyone or upset anyone, but the church, religion, if it's the hospitals, the doctors, medication, whatever, every single thing is a business. It's all about money. It's not about ourselves. It's not about teaching self-empowerment. It's not about teaching self-healing. It's not about teaching the journey within, because they don't want us to know this stuff. Powerful, healed, happy people do not make other people money, and that's a fact. So the first thing you have to do is start disconnecting from all the noise externally from you. I'm not saying live a Pollyanna life like I do. I don't read the papers. I don't watch the news. I don't want to know. I don't want to keep speaking to people about the wars and the rapes and this person's just been killed or anything else, because the more you add your attention to the things you don't want, you are actually perpetuating the life and the situations. You're making them even worse. And when you understand that if you want to see change in this world, you have to be that change. So you have to disconnect from all the noise, and that means disciplining yourself. Then you have to start getting real clarity onto what you want. You have to define it, because the universe cannot bring you what you want unless you have the clarity. And it's a daily practice. So before you even get out of bed every single day, I set my intention for the day. I close my eyes, I breathe, I go within, I touch my heart. I then envision myself as the person that I choose to be. Powerful, strong, confident, however that may be to me. I see myself doing the work that I want to do as if it's already done, because creation is complete. Then I give thanks to God, I give thanks to the universe, and I'm grateful for my children, my grandchildren. I think of the flowers, I think of whatever brings me joy or happiness. then I get out of bed. So I've already set myself into a very high frequency. I shower in that way. I sing. I think of all the wonderful things that I'm going to do in the day. And I set my intention that today I'll only see the beautiful things that I choose to see in the world. And that I will intermingle with the most beautiful, spiritual, soul-filled people. So I set my intention. Then I don't look at my telephone. I never go to my phone. I don't ever look at my emails. I don't ever turn on social media. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. No, 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 no. Because all you're doing is buying into negativity. So this is all about the first hour or half hour or 45 minutes of you setting the intention and raising your frequency and vibration so high that regardless of what's happening around you, nothing's going to start penetrating that vibration. Then when you go into the outside world, you've already set the intention for the day of what you want to see, what you want to manifest, and what you want to be able to create in your reality. So it's all about what you do, what you read, what you give your attention to. If something is upsetting you, or you meet someone that's being disrespectful or rude, or they're saying things you don't want to hear about, oh, I'm so sorry, I've got a meeting, I have to dash, speak to you again soon. There's ways that you can stop the conversations. It's all about you understanding that you are an energy being. We are feeling beings, and we're all full of energy. We have 100% of energy each day. So where are you dissipating your energy? Who are you giving attention to? How much energy are you wasting by arguing with someone, or by looking at the very thing you don't want to have in your life? So where is your energy going? So look at where you're dispersing your energy. Look at what you're giving your attention to. Write down how you think and feel every day, and look at what is that emotion that you are carrying that no longer serves you. And what is it that you do want to think and feel? And then start giving that your attention, because then the universe will start mirroring what you are projecting, because you are literally just a broadcasting tower. And whatever you're emitting, like the signal, is what is coming back into your life. So play with it. Start commanding a parking space. Start saying that today I only see the very best in life. Everything always works out for me. You know, I spoke to someone the other day, and they were always sick. And they were saying, I'm always sick. I always get a headache. Every time I eat an egg, I get spots. Every time this happens, oh, I can't function unless I have my tablets. And I'm like, oh my God, like, wow, like, look what you're commanding and bringing into your life. I said, just appease me just for a while. Just say, you know, I'm feeling fit and healthy today. Every single day I get stronger and stronger. You know, just start speaking to yourself in that way and seeing what happens in your life. Just play with it. What have you got to lose? Most people don't even want to do it. And when I speak to them about it, they're like, yeah, that works for some people, or yeah, I've heard it before, but it doesn't work for me. I'm like, wow, okay, well, if that's your intention and if that's what you're saying, because law of attraction is only going to ever bring you what is a vibrational match to you, cannot bring you anything else. So if you think people are rude, if you think people disrespect you, if you think there's not enough money out there, life is hard, you have to work 24 hours a day to make a buck, and you have to really grind your ass off, excuse my language, but you know, whatever the belief is, or I'm always fat, I'm never going to lose weight, it's in my genetics, or you know, sickness is in my family, breast cancer is in the family, so I have to go and have my breast chopped. It's all a load of rubbish. It's literally, your point of power is right here and right now. Whatever you are dictating and commanding, you are going to create your reality. The past doesn't exist, it only exists now. The future doesn't exist, you are creating it in this moment. So your point of power is right here and right now. What you give your attention to, what you breathe life into, is going to be your life. And that is it, nothing else. No one can dictate to you what is going to happen into your life, only you. You are the permission slip for everything, good, bad, positive, or negative.
Do you see a lot of people rising to this level, in the sense that you look at, you are in the UK now, you are on the streets, say you are in London or Manchester. When you walk around, do you see people living their life in this level, being able to rise to this point that they can really be free, you know, instead of becoming mini slave to the system?
No, I think a lot of people are trapped in the system. There's a lot of people that are trying and that are on their journey because, like I said, life is all about our own personal journey. We're not actually here to change anybody else's life. It's not part of our, we're not actually allowed to. Everyone chose to come here for a reason and they all chose to overcome and awaken certain things themselves. Some people can't do it and some people will be able to do it. Some people go off, when they die and they decide to jump back in and try again because it's very, very hard. But everybody's on their journey. So for me, it's about being the example, living your life so people can ask you, wow, why are you always so happy? Why do you look so young for your age? Why do you look so good? Why are you always singing? Why are you always... So be the example because people will come and ask you. So for me, it's like, no, you're right. A lot of people are trapped. A lot of people creating immense wealth or they're creating things in their life. They're very good at materializing stuff, but they are so disconnected. They're so unhappy. I work with a lot of millionaires, a lot of people that have a ton of money, and the most miserable, disconnected people you will find because people always think once I have the stuff, then I'll be happy. And they completely they've completely lost what the whole point of reality is about. They have no family life with their children, their wives or their husbands no longer want to be with them. They go for the dolly birds or they go for the fast cars or they want this stuff because they think it's going to give them attention or it's going to make them feel something about themselves because they don't feel it already. It's completely the opposite. You have to feel, like I said, we're feeling beings. You can have anything in your life once you understand, once you start repairing yourself as well. Because if you feel broken, if you feel lonely, if you don't feel good enough, the only people that you're going to meet is lonely, other people that don't feel good enough and other people that are so disconnected from themselves. So when you feel whole, when you feel happy and when you feel complete, you'll start meeting people on that same level. And then the other people can't come into your vibration because you're no longer a vibrational match to them. So everything is always about us. That's why I wrote The Answer Is You, because you are the answer, you are the problem, but you are the solution, which is a phenomenal and amazing thing to really understand.
So I was interviewing this spiritual practitioner of an African discipline, of course. Then he was telling me that, of course, he is of the same line that life is actually spiritual, only that we're having a physical experience, no? And he was saying everything that we want, everything that we be is already is. Everything is here, he said. And he said, now imagine in Lagos, because Lagos is the biggest city in Africa. He said, in Lagos right now, there is fire burning, but that fire is only potential. For that fire to be physically burning, we need somebody that will bring the fire from the potential existence to the actual existence, to the real existence, or to the physical existence. Which is to say, in Lagos also, in Lagos City, there is a lot of abundance here. There is a lot of joy, a lot of life going on. For us to experience that, we need somebody to attract that, bring it from a potential existence to the physical existence, which is to say that everything we want, everything we ever need, including those that we will not be able to experience, is already here. What are we connected to? Speak to me about that.
Yeah, so creation is complete. Creation is whole. God didn't, like I said, he didn't just make us. We weren't just born from a mother's womb and then he's like, oh, there you go off and have fun and enjoy your life. We are spiritual beings. We came into creation. Creation is complete. It's whole and complete, but we are not. So our whole life's journey is that whatever you want and you set an intention for, it's there. But if you don't believe it's there, why do we not believe? What is a belief? A belief is an idea. It's an idea that somebody has planted within your mind that you have thought about so many times that it's become solid. So we're born into this 3D reality where every single thing that we want to experience, they tell us from school, remember, 1 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times, I can't even remember my times table. But it's repeated, and it's like so robotic that it becomes like you can go unconscious, like you're hypnotized. And that's how a lot of people control other people, through marketing, through the TV, through Instagram, through all these social platforms, by hypnotizing you. But the reality is, completion is the world is complete. So whatever you want, you can have as a spiritual being. You can command anything when you set the intention to have it. But if you don't believe it, then you can't achieve it. It cannot come into your reality. So you have to soften your belief. You have to start moving out of the way. Like I said, if you believe that you can make a mountain split in half, or if you can believe that you can part the seas, you will have that ability. And people say, what a load of rubbish. But I know people that have had the ability to be able to time travel, walk through walls, do all these things, because it's just energy. But our brains haven't got the capacity to be able to expand to the point of view where we can even comprehend that or allow that idea to penetrate into our minds. That's why God created us with imagination. So our mental minds and our eyes might be perceiving and have limitations, but our imagination can take us anywhere we want. How did people create the planes? How did all these amazing inventions happen? They didn't just think them into being just by looking around themselves. They had an idea that came into their minds, sometimes when they were sleeping. Sometimes they wanted to be able to create something to resolve an issue, and they had a dream, and then that dream then turned into something that managed to transform the world. So it's through our imaginations that we can then go within, and we can plant the seeds, and those seeds will start implementing and growing, and that's how we can start bringing things into reality. I've done it myself numerous times. I do it all the time. Like, I want to do something, I want to go on a trip, I want to be part of something where someone said, there's no way you can go, it's for a certain amount of people only, there's no way that it's all for men, that you can't be on that trip. I've manifested it. I've just gone within myself. I visualized myself getting on that plane, drinking that champagne, being on the yacht with these people, shaking hands. And 2 days before they were going to go, they're like, you must be a witch or something, because 2 people had just dropped out. If you've got a bag packed, but my bag was already packed because I was already going on that plane. So I have my passport out, I have my shoes, I have everything out, because you have to know. You don't believe and hope or think. You have to know. You have to know that creation is complete and that you can have those things you want. And every time that you're blocking and stopping it, it's just something within yourself. So it's always a cleaning up game. It's always just going within and softening the vibration, getting off the subject that you're blocking yourself from attaining, and doing something else. Because the more joy you have, the happier you become. You start dislodging and dismantling all this energy that's blocked over here. So it just starts flowing, and that's all it is about allowing the energy to flow and for the manifestations to be able to just come easily into your life. But like I said, it's not how we've been brought up. We've been brought up into a system that wants to keep you controlled. If you think about it, what would the world be if everybody was enlightened? If everybody had self-mastery, if we all knew that we could manifest and we could heal ourselves and we could be happy, and that we were joyful creators here to experience joy, where would the money come from? There would be no need for medication, no need for anything in the world, because we'd all be living the most joyful lives. So it's not, like I said, everything is all about money at the end of the day. So you either control your mind and you control your reality, or the external is going to do it for you. So you have a choice. You either become part of the system, or like the Matrix. Now, I do believe the Matrix was really more of a documentary about who we are. You take the red pill or the blue pill, but the choice is yours. And that's one thing God gave us. He gave us the gift of choice. You get to choose. No one else. No one can insert anything into your life unless you agree and you choose it to become part of your life. So yeah, it's exciting.
It's exciting. All right, now let's imagine this possibility where everybody can actually be awakened. I'm using the word intentionally. Be awakened in the sense that we can actually live in our limitless potential. Because now there is an idea that is controlling the global economy, which is coming from limitation, coming from lack, coming from the fact that there is only much that we can do. We cannot do more than that. That is what capitalism is built on. That is what the currency is built on. It's not built on abundance. No, it's built on this limitation. If we take a step back, we go to look at the Bible, for example, we see the end of time, that God is going to come and judge us. The judgment day, that is going to be the end, where there's going to be separating the good from the bad and all of that. Where from many spirituality, which of course, the reason I was saying before that religion is not spirituality, that is pretty crap. That is, judgment is already made. In fact, from Eastern spirituality, I'm coming from Eastern, which is south of Nigeria. Of course, this is also in agreement with many other African spirituality and many other in the world, actually. We don't face that kind of judgment. In fact, it is believed that you are in a perpetual journey of becoming a better version of yourself, which is you are God, because you are a child of God. Therefore, you are God. If you are the child of a lion, who are you? You are a lion. If you are the child of a monkey, you are a monkey. But we are children of God. Therefore, we are God. In fact, in Africa, and I think also in many other cultures, we refer to the people that have gone beyond this dimension as ancestors. We don't believe that they are dead, because if we believe that they are dead, we wouldn't pray towards them. You ask the ancestors to intervene because you believe that they are still alive. Only that they are no longer alive in the dimension that you are. They have passed on to another dimension. So I was looking 100%. At this story couple of weeks ago, actually, a couple of months ago now, because usually my articles are something around 1,200. So I wanted to write an article about Ehi, which is about God consciousness in Eastern spirituality, or looking at the guided angel. You see, my name is Obehi. That is two names. That is two words. The first word is Obo. Obo means hand. The second word that make up Obehi is Ehi, which is God consciousness, or you look at it from the point of view of your guardian angel. Now, when we go to explain who a person really is, we can see now that a person is actually a spirit that is having a human experience. In Eastern spirituality, we believe that a person can live to a point that that person dies. But let's understand that the person that dies is only a part of the person dies, but a part never dies. And he, which is your guardian angel, in our tradition, never dies. In fact, he has a pre-existence before he come to be born as a human being. So that you you need this body to live in this reality. You were saying something before that you can be born. If you didn't do a good job, you can come back again. That is reincarnation in many spiritual explanation. That is how we see it. That you will continue to be. Even after your journey here, you can go back and come back. You can go and come back again. This is found in Yoruba tradition, it's found in Igbo tradition, it's found in Eastern tradition, it's found in many African traditions. I believe also in many traditional belief system across the world. We need to understand that life is more than this. And this is important for us because if we understand it like this, the way we shape our society is going to be different.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, the people that are being born today, they have a completely different mindset. They're not coming in with, it's the older generation that are so stuck in their ways of thinking and certain people. But there's a lot of people that are awakening now. And when you awaken yourself, you start becoming part of it. So a lot of people don't see it. But I would say the world is shifting massively now. But you are right. You try to speak a language that people can understand and they can implement it into their lives. But really, we are spiritual beings having a very human experience. And as you said, there is no such thing as death. Are you still there?
I'm here. Sorry, I was just drinking water.
I'm sorry. I could only see myself. There is no such thing as death. We're spirits. When our body dies, our spirits then go on. When my mother passed away, I wanted to really, really observe the death experience, as it's called. So I sat with my mother. I saw her demise. I saw, how her life experiences had caused her to really create this painful life experience that she was experiencing, and what she kept commanding over herself. It was really quite tragic, but I just had to be there in love for her, and I had to hold her and cuddle her and tell her how much she was loved and how much everybody loved her, because that was my job, was to make sure that her ending on this earth as her human self was to be able to transition in peace and in love. And it was a very hard thing to do because she was my mother, and I loved and adored her. But you know, the day that I remember that she was clinging onto the bed and she was pulling herself up, and she was about 5 stone, and I was thinking, God, you're so strong. And I realized actually it's your strength that's killing you, because you just won't let go of all the stuff that you've been holding on to your whole life. And as she started taking her last breath, I said to God, the universe, whatever, I said, please just take her now. Like, I don't want her to suffer anymore. She can't do this. So just let's end this part of her life's journey. And yeah, she took her last breath and she passed away, and she passed away in my arms. And then after that, I think I held her body for about 4 or 5 hours. So I needed to see with my own eyes. And I saw immediately how her spirit had come out of her body, and I felt it go through me. But I also saw the body completely decomposing, how she just went, it was lifeless. It was nothingness. It's just a suit. There was nothing left there. And of course we mourn because it's the person that we feel that we've had that attachment to. But my real relationship with my mother really started after she passed away. Our relationship now is so strong because she's now living on a higher dimension. Our conversations and what she tells me, and you know, the things that she helps me with, it's beautiful, because like you said, nobody dies. All the information from everyone that's passed over is in the field. It's there. We can connect when we disconnect. You can't connect through negativity. You have to connect in love, because that is the vibration that everybody is on. And as you said, you know, if we're going to go to right to the heart of it and take away all the fluffy bits, we are God personified. That is who we are. We are all aspects of God. We are here to live a joyful life experience, for God to basically to be here to see, what does it taste to eat a chocolate cake? What does it taste like to ride your bike, to, you know, for the pedals to fall off, or for the chain to fall off, to get off, and to smell the oil. And we're here to experience all aspects of life, but we get caught up in these life experiences. Instead of just seeing them for what they are, we get caught up in the feelings and the emotions of them, where really the emotions are there to help guide us to move away from the things that aren't working for us and to move us towards the things that are working for us. But yeah, you are 100% correct. We are God personified, here to be able to command and bring into the universe anything we want. But you know, there is different polarities. There are two different energies. There is a positive and a negative, and there is no such thing as what we have been told, that, you know, when you die, then you have to face judgment and God's going to condemn you. It's such a load of crap. Do you know what? Really, when you die, the only person you meet is yourself. You will feel everything that you've made somebody else feel. And that is what life's all about. We get to see, we get to feel, we get to experience, but we also get to choose if we want to jump back in and try again. Most spirits, sometimes they don't want to come back again. It's hard. Who wants to come back? But people that want to challenge, they come back because they want to experience it again. And, you know, we forget who we are the minute we come back into this 3D reality. And then the whole part of the journey is awakening and understanding, and coming back to awakening to ourselves, understanding who we are, and like you said, having these experiences, meeting these people along our path. And it's all part of our own process of purifying ourselves and awakening to the divinity that's truly inside of us. And yeah, it's an amazing process. You know, God created the world, absolutely phenomenal. And it hurts sometimes when you see all the children that are going through stuff that they shouldn't be going through, but really they chose to come here to play that part as well. So when I look at people now, I don't look at people as human beings. I look at them as spiritual beings who they chose to come, and maybe that child come to show the parent compassion, to show the parent how to connect back to themselves. There's all different reasons, because people say, oh, why would God do this to me? Why would God do this to a child? God isn't doing anything. You are doing everything. So when you understand that you are doing it, what are you doing to create this this situation? How can you then send that person love? How can you change your perspective or your consciousness? Because people can only rise or fall to your level of expectancy. They can only give you what is you're projecting about them. If you want a different outlook or a different outtake of someone, then choose to see only the parts of them that you want to choose. And that is the only parts that they'll be able to see, to be able to show you. But if you want to see the hatred or the resentment, or they've robbed me, or they've done this to me, they're the only parts that they can show. Everyone's wearing a mask that you gave them. And it's as simple as that. You know, you can remove the mask or you can keep it on. But I think the biggest part of the game, as you were saying, is the awareness. If you don't know that you are a creator and that you came here and you chose to create, you're always playing in the 3D reality, and it's painful, and you'll always be suffering. And you're always going to give your power to something external to fix you, to help you. But when you understand that you are a powerful creator, then you start taking your power back and you start living really on another reality. Don't get me wrong, you're always going to have trials and tribulations. You're always going to have highs and lows, because they're all different frequencies. They're part of who we are. But it's about learning not to respond, not to react, and how you want to then go forward and change that situation, because you see how it's benefiting you. What did you learn from it? How did it help you to grow? So if you can see everything as happening for you and not to you, but it's happening through you, then life does become completely different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This learning is important. Thank you so much for this sharing, Mimi. You see, somebody might say, okay, now, if you know everything, and because people are afraid of the knowing, they're afraid of the knowledge, that is why they stay in their ignorance for a lot of people, because ignorance is very comforting, because when you are in ignorance, nobody is really going to be holding you accountable, because if you are afraid to show your face, if you are hiding your face behind other people, your face is not visible. Nobody can come and accuse you of something, because you haven't said anything, you haven't done anything. So if you are lying on your bed, that is where you are lying, just watching people living their life, you can't be guilty of anything. Only that you are shortchanging yourself. Because, okay, now, this is another area again, looking at, taking it back to Eastern spirituality now, is that life, because somebody now might get confused and say, hey, but if it is just like that God is not going to punish you, then I should just be doing evil. But that is who you are. I mean, you are evil. But wait a minute. Let's look at it this way. You see, I said that we are God, no? But for us to really experience a better part of us, we need to be clean. We need to clean ourselves of the impurity. In that, because the system is so perfectly set up, God is not going to come and start flogging you for the evil that you have done. There is consequences of evil. Because it's a continuous journey of becoming a better version of yourself. Anytime you do evil, you are reduced. It is not somebody that is reduced, it's your evil that is reduced, because evil have its own weight, and good also have its own weight. If you are doing evil, your evil is moving you down. If you are doing good, it means you are purifying yourself, then you are moving up or becoming a better version of yourself. If you are doing bad, it means you haven't evolved yet. So you need to repeat that again for as many thousands of years it will be required. But what is important is that, like you are saying, you are the one creating your reality, and you are the one also experiencing that. And I think I learned a lot of things there, that we see people, we are pitying them. It's possible that this is the road that they have chosen to play, because this is not the end of it. They have been here before now, and they're also going to be here before. Perhaps in the previous version, life was so full of everything that they haven't experienced what it means to suffer. And perhaps they have come to repeat it on their own. But now, there is also something important there. When you see them suffering, what do you do? Because Mimi is saying that all this scene, all this movie that you are seeing is playing out for you. Maybe they are choosing to suffer is for you to learn empathy. If you do not learn empathy, if you don't learn how to show compassion towards them, of course, they are playing their part. But what about your own part? Because their part is for them. What you are seeing is for you. If you decide to maybe make them suffer, you are going to suffer the consequences of that. Because what you are doing is a reflection back to who you are. With me now, that, I think the game is very interesting. That you are
It is
choosing what you
interesting.
want, but remember that everything you are doing, you are going to take the consequence of that.
Yeah, it's interesting but complex, because when you understand that you are the only one here, so if you understand, like if you look at all the rioting and all the things that are happening at the moment, but what people forget is that everyone is just a reflection of you, that you cannot see anything in someone that isn't in you. So if you only see anger and hatred in someone, that anger and hatred is actually inside of you. Life is just a reflection. So what are you doing? And so like it's like all these things people say, like, well, somebody just killed a child, and so we want to go and like shoot that person, like rip them apart, and they need to pay. But really, what they're forgetting is that that person is just an aspect of yourself. If you look at that, you're the only person here, and I know it's really hard to get your head around it because it took me a long time to really comprehend and understand this. But really, they aren't doing any evil. The evil is what you're seeing within them. Your job is only to see the good aspects of them, because they are a reflection of you. They are you, you are them. They're on their own life's journey, but your journey, as you just said, is to see what's coming out of you. That's the whole point of it. If you can hold compassion and love and understanding that they are on their life's journey, you actually affect and can transform their life, their own timeline in history, and everyone else's around you. But if you start buying into that, and you start being the one that's throwing the petrol bombs and throwing everything on these people, and taking the knives and taking the bricks and throwing them, and trying to hurt another, really the only person you're hurting is you're hurting yourself, because what you're doing to another, you're actually doing to yourself. So every single thing is only a reflection of you. And that is the hardest part to understand, because we're looking at it from a 3D reality. We're looking at, well, how dare they? How could they do this? The injustice. But like you said, you've got to look at beyond that. You've got to look at how we've been set up, how the world's been set up. The whole point of it is for you to be able to stand in the midst of the bombs coming and the world blowing up, and you standing there with such conviction, such love, nothing else coming out of you, of pure love, peace, and happiness. Nothing's going to affect you, because you have actually gone to level 100 and past that. And that is the point of whole of evolution. That is enlightenment. We never get to that stage where life is going to be complete, because we're always going to be continually learning, growing. Life is a journey. It's an evolution of our own souls. We never get there. We're never going to get there. We're never going to have the answers. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be more things for us to awaken and overcome. But all I can say is, from my own experience, the more you come from love, the more you come from that inner peace and happiness, it's just beautiful. It just flows. You see life in a completely different way, and you can understand it on a different level. People say to me, especially my children, sometimes my sons, are like, "Mum, you're so naive. Like, you just see the good in everyone. You're so gullible." But I'm not gullible, and I know they don't understand it, so I stay quiet. Sometimes our ego always wants us to respond and to answer and try to make people understand and see things from our point of view. But the most powerful thing to do is just to let them have their say, because that's part of their reality and their life's journey as well, and just to keep your energy and your power within you. It's knowing, when you know, and when it becomes your state of being and who you are, then it's like you say, you're playing a different game. And I'd rather play my game than play the game of, well, what the world or the 3D reality is created. It's complete. As you said earlier, something that's really important. We are born into heaven, but everyone's waiting to die to get to heaven. We're actually born in heaven. You can either create heaven or you can create hell, and that is all coming from inside of you. So like you said, we're here creators. We are God personified. We're here as pure and intentional love. But what's coming out of you, what seeds have been planted within you that you are dispersing back into this world? Because when everyone can stand together, when everyone can stand and reclaim their own self-power, their own self-mastery, and they can reclaim the love, the compassion, and the understanding, then that's when the world will change, and it will change quickly. And there's a lot more people that are changing now, you know, a lot of people that we don't actually see. And we only see, if you think about it, the news and the TV will only broadcast all the horrible hatred things. Why? Because they want you to be angry. They want you to stay separate from yourselves. You know, wake up and understand the game that they're playing. The only things that they put on the TV is all the things that are going to make you want to revoke, cause hatred, hurt another. That's the whole game of this 3D reality. When you understand that it's way beyond that. You don't need to play this stupid little game. You're gods. You're here to create. So stop playing on a lower level and start reclaiming your power, because it's time now where the world really needs it.
Thank you for that. And if somebody were to really think about it, to reflect on it now, it's not just only esoteric as a philosophy, but it's reality. You see, right now, I am in Verona, which is in the northern part of Italy, and you are in the UK. You see, between you and me, there are billions of trillions of frequency that are just interface, you know. But you see, we are not receiving all this signal. Because if we receive all this signal at once, our brain will just do like this. It will just explode. Because that is too much of an energy to comprehend at the same time. He said, what we are doing right now at this moment is that we are isolating every other thing, but connected through one line. Through this line now, I can see you, you can see me the way I look. But I'm not really there with you, you are not really there with me, but it's as if maybe we are just near each other. Now, that is just one way to look at it. Now, we see countries, we see people where there is a lot of suffering, no? Then you ask yourself, but why are all this suffering around? Is it possible that there are no possibility for us to live good life? It's because we are not attuning to that energy. We are attuning, playing the game of other people. And we are supposed to suffer because we are playing the game of other people for their interest. Now, take a moment to look at it. Until recently, when gravity was understood, it doesn't mean that gravity came to existence at that time. This entire world is based on that logic. Otherwise, everything will fly away. It has been there, but we didn't know until somebody managed to understand that that is how it works. You see, until it was understood how to transmit this energy that you and I are tapping into right now, we didn't know that it was there. But it has all been there all along since the dawn of time.
Yeah, definitely.
You see, there are a lot of energy that we don't know how to even comprehend. We don't know how to even tap into. But all of them are here. So that, like the guest I was interviewing said, everything is already here. All you need to do is to manifest what you want.
The biggest problem that we have as the human beings is the fact that we are surrounded by so much noise. So much noise. If you think about it, Obi, like you think we're told what to eat, what not to eat, what makes you fat, what makes you skinny, what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy. Go into your inner child, go into your warrior child, go into your, your past. You have to go back and you have to do this. And there's this therapy, that therapy. There's 20,000 billion people telling us, so our heads are completely blown apart. Like, oh my God, should I eat meat? Should I not eat meat? Should I go left? Should I go right? Do I need to take these tablets? Is the doctor right? If I don't take them, will I die? Will this happen? God, there's so much information overload that really then, like even to the point, like I see even with some of my grandchildren, it's like, if you don't do this, this is going to be the result. And then as a parent, you're like, oh, God, like if I don't follow God, maybe my child will die. So Joy is like, we're so conditioned and we live in so much fear because we don't know our own truth. And when you can disconnect from the noise, like I love the saying, keep it simple. And I don't like the word stupid. So I say, keep it spiritually simple, KISS. Because when you understand who you are, when you understand the power that you have, when you understand that you actually have your own guidance system, you can ask yourself, should I be eating this food? You can muscle test on yourself. And it's a very simple little muscle test that I can teach people just with your fingers and your other finger. You can ask yourself questions. Should I eat this food? Is it going to be good for my body? Yes. No, it would tell you. It's like every single thing. You don't need anyone external. You don't even need me. All I do with my clients is teach them the system, the formula, the blueprint, because I want you then to go and incorporate it into your life. I don't want lifelong clients that are paying me to help them. I want people to become empowered. And that's what it's all about. People stay in therapy for years and years because all they do is talk about their past, how they're feeling, the problems, and what you talk about, you perpetuate. So you're perpetuating the very existence that you don't want in your life. So let's start empowering people. Let's start showing people, giving them the ability to tap inwards and show them that, yeah, you don't have to just completely get rid of your life as it is now. If you're sick and you're on medication, keep the medication, but alongside the medication, let's teach you how to heal your body. Let's teach you how to command the results that you want. If you're poor, let's teach you how to change your life and how to then start bringing in and manifesting the experiences, the people, the situations to get you out of this, to change your life. If you're lonely and you want to find love, let's teach people how to love themselves so they can start attracting equal people back into their life. It's really important who you surround yourself with, and it's really important about your environment as well, because your environment will either make you or break you. But I've always been of the concept that I like to put myself into sometimes toxic environments, or what I would say environments that aren't that productive of really creating the life that you want. Why do I do that? Because I know that if I can manifest and sustain and become the person that I want to be around any environment, then you don't have to then start saying, oh, I need to go and live in a cave, or I need to become a Buddhist monk for a year because I need to get away from this environment. You can do it anyway. It's all about mastering yourself, where you place your focus, where you place your attention, and understanding that your feelings as a feeling being is there, like a hot and cold game, to direct you. It's your sat navigation system showing you when you're on track with what you desire and when you're off track with what you don't desire. And at anytime you have depression or you have any form of upsetment or negativity, you have gone somewhere mentally, emotionally. Your spiritual self has already gone to what you want to attain and experience, but your human side hasn't allowed yourself to go. And that is the disconnect. That's why you have anxiety. You're thinking about things in the future that haven't even happened yet. So why would you do that? Stay in the now and stay in your creative power. So yeah, it's crazy what we do to ourselves. We really do cause our own pain.
I thought that maybe it's out of ignorance because we don't know. And that leads me to, I think you were referring to it before. I think I also did. The fact that maybe people come to this life to experience something. Maybe that is intentional for them, even though sometimes it is not something that is easier for us to explain or to understand. But let's assume that is the case. Why would we need to change that by maybe teaching them to do something different from that? Let me understand it.
Yeah. Well, I think I've spoken to quite a lot of people that have had past life experiences, people that have died technically on an operating theatre and come back. I've spoken to people that have had overcome some serious life-threatening sicknesses and diseases, and also through my own interpretation of what's happened to me, and through what, when we, like I say, we all have the ability to quieten ourselves down and connect, and then the messages will flow through us. But, as spiritual beings, we come here as to experience all different aspects of life. Maybe somebody wants to see what it would be like to be blown up in a car, or to be in a, like when the car's just about to blow up, and then, you transcend that feeling, and then your spirit leaves the body's there, but you leave and you go back to heaven. Think about it like a game. It's like we look at everything as so seriousness, like, we take everything on face value of why would this happen? Why are this horrific things happening? But take for instance 9/11, like when the towers came down and the planes went through those towers. Look how humans all came together for the goodness of a bigger cause than themselves. So sometimes things happen because it stops us just thinking about ourselves, because sometimes we're so self-obsessed, we're so self-absorbed. How is people looking at me? How are they seeing me? How are they perceiving me? Then suddenly a tragedy happens, and then you forget about yourself, and it's all about how can I go and help another. So it's all about all these things sometimes are there for us to go beyond ourselves, for us to be able to understand that the more you give to others, the more you give to yourself. The more love you give to someone, the more love you're giving to yourself. So it's all about us understanding that, yes, we are spiritual beings, but we become so obsessed with our egos and about us and how the world is affecting us, and how other people are perceiving us, that we actually forget that every single person is here as a part of us. So the more you help another, you're helping yourself. The more you give to somebody something that you want, you're actually giving that aspect to yourself as well. So as spiritual beings, there is no reason why somebody chose to come and experience different aspects. We all choose what we want to experience because it could be fun. It could be exciting. How do you know what it's like? Like, you, until you felt pain, you don't know what happiness is. Until you turn on the light, you only experience the dark. So everybody wants to experience all aspects of life. That's the fun part of life, because it then gives you the clarity of what you do want and what you don't want. Like I said, life is just a clarification system. It's just here to show us what we want to experience, and that's what life's really all about. But I think we get stuck in the over analyzing. Why is that happening? That's good or bad. There is no good or bad. If you think about it, everything in the world is energy. You put the meaning behind it. There is no good, no bad. It's just energy. You give it form. It is formless until you give it life. And that's as simple as that, really. Everything's coming from the meaning you give it.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Now, I want you to tell me something about your book. The answer is you. What does that mean?
Well, basically, I wrote the book. It's a very thin little book. I think it's about maybe 85 pages. And that book came through me, I'd say, within 4 or 5 days that was written. Literally, again, when you ask and you want it to be joyful and impactful, and you want it to come through you quickly, it will. You just have to get out of the way and allow the words and the time to come, for those words to come through you. The book was written really because I wanted a really simple process for anyone that didn't know how we create our reality, to put it down in such simple forms that anybody could understand it. So when you go to the fridge in the morning and you open the door and the milk falls out and the milk's all over the floor, how is that setting you up for the day? Then you get in your car and you're angry, and then you get stuck in the traffic, and then someone bibs you, or someone nudges your car, and it's all part of the vibration of what you're putting out there. So the book is all about, really, for anyone that doesn't understand who you are, how you form your identity, you can never outdo your own identity of how you see yourself, then how to create, how to change it, how to change your vibration, how to stay in the vibration that you want. And then I think the last chapter is a tiny little bit more heavier, a little bit about really what we're here for, and really, we are creators. Book 2 that's going to be coming out hopefully this year is going to be much heavier. It's going to be more for the advanced people, about that we are God personified and how we are here to create, and it's going to take it to a whole different level. But yeah, it was more a book to help other people that have never understood this, that know nothing about it, that can really understand and get a concept for it. There was somebody that wrote to me, and I think it was I think they're from Germany. They read the book and they sent me pictures and pictures of chapter 5, I think it was your self-identity and how you see yourself, and that you can never outdo your own identity. And it really resonated with them, and they changed it. And they realized that they were reflecting everything that was happening to them was all a reflection of themselves. And they completely transformed their life. And when I get letters like that, or someone that's overcome cancer, somebody that had such severe depression just from reading a book, because one thing I'll say about the words that you speak, what's true, what sits with you, what really resonates within your soul, the truth will always set you free, as they say. What doesn't resonate with you, it will never feel good to you. So I always say to you, like, whoever's talking, me, anyone else, any book you pick up, if there's something that resonates with your soul, then that's part of your life's journey. If it doesn't resonate with you, then just toss it aside, because we all have different teachers in life. Now, I could say to my son, oh, if you do this, blah, 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 and he'll look at me and he'll be like, yeah, I don't understand a word you're saying, Mum. And then the next day he'll call me, oh, I was listening to a podcast by, I don't know, he'll be listening to someone and he said this. And I'm like, well, I said that to you yesterday, but he couldn't hear me. So we all on different vibrations. We hear and we see the teachers and the people that are there when we need them. Otherwise, it's all gobbledygook. You'll just think, load of rubbish, toss that aside. 5 years later, you may read a book or you may hear the same person talking. You think, oh my God, I really hear now what they're saying. So it's where you are. It's on your level of consciousness.
Thank you so much for that. That is really important. Yeah, it's really important because, it's like the frequency I was referring to before, no? Because it depends on the frequency that you are tuned to. Because even right now as we are talking, if we tune to another frequency, maybe the person that we'll be seeing here will be from completely another country. You could be seeing something completely different, maybe an animal or anything, because that is a frequency, no? Because depending on what we tune to, that is what is coming to, at least to put it in a very simple way. But when you turn it into a spiritual level now, then the explanation, though it can be me the same, but